So you've done it before and you're back. And what's the attraction? What brings you back to ride your bike for 24 hours?
Insanity? I don't know. I think it's just fun to be out and test yourself, and going for 24 hours is something completely different than anything else you'd ever do.
It's trying to accomplish something that you didn't really originally think you could ever accomplish. And after I did my first one and I actually finished it and realized I could do it, I was like to try it again, and you kind of set a little bit higher and higher goals, and that's kind of how it goes.
You know, I used to live in the Netherlands last year and was moving over here with my wife, and I thought I need a challenge, so it seemed like a good idea at the time. I'm not so sure now.
This year I'm on a personal mission to raise money for MS. That's my charity of choice. I have a good friend that has MS, and he's really struggling, so I decided I would do something to struggle for him.
You know, the first year I did the solo, I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, overweight dramatically, and I've lost about 30 pounds over the last 3 years doing it. Kept it off. My blood pressure is now normal. My kids and family have totally benefited from that. You know, it's just the total reason to do it is health and happiness.
I like ultra endurance. My nickname was kind of Forrest Gump when I was younger. I'm not the fastest, but I just go on forever.
Well, I decided to give myself a challenge. Last year I had cancer and went through that and went through the chemo, so I signed myself up after I finished everything and set, what today's date as a goal to really push myself.
How important is your support crew, and what do they do for you?
My support crew is really, really important. I mean, the very first time in 2008 when I did one, my wife sat the entire night in the storms with a 6-month-old baby in a stroller all wrapped up. So, I mean, they're completely... without them, I couldn't even do it. I wouldn't even make it 10 hours, let alone 24.
As well as pushing you to go on another lap and not letting you sit down, and even if you have to walk it out, they make you go, and it's so easy just to sit down. Oh, I did my part, but if you have somebody really kicking you to go and give it your all, it's great. And they have all the food ready, the bike's tuned up. It's essential for even just to get one lap in. You have to have help. It's required.
So I've got my wife, my 14-month-old son will be squealing me on now and again, and a couple of friends will be here doing shifts. Well, it makes a huge difference.
Tell me a little bit about the mental aspect of doing this for 24 hours.
I think the biggest thing has got to be the sleep deprivation, and learning to just keep going, and everybody else is suffering just like you are, and if you can just keep those pedals going, you're gonna do well.
I'm a very early morning person, so actually when people find it tough, I'm actually getting perky because I'm a morning person, early morning person. So that's actually my favorite time of riding, is when the sun's rising.
You're probably familiar with some of your competition out there. What's your expectations for yourself against the pack out there and the solo riders?
I was hoping top 10 when I came out, and so I'm thinking it's going to be somewhere between 13 to 16 laps, depending on weather.
I think my strategy is just going to be consistency. I'm just going to try and stay on the bike and keep moving. I'm not racing, so it's just going to be a matter of keeping going and not stopping. So I got to go the whole 24 hours or whatever it is to finish, and I know it's not going to be easy. I know it's going to be extremely difficult, but I'm not going to lay down. I just got to keep going.
For me, it's really a personal thing. I try to go out. I'm racing myself. Ultimately, it's kind of a war of attrition instead of really a race. So there's no one really I'm racing here except myself. And I mean, I have my own kind of goals in my head and stuff, and we'll kind of see where I fall in that. But it's really, I think, a war against yourself.
But what do you think of the organization here, the 24 hours, and the venue of the Canmore Nordic Centre?
So far, so good. I'm pretty impressed by everything, and I rode the course on Thursday, and everything just looks phenomenal, and it's pretty amazing how much they've done and how much work they do.
They got Road to Ruin in this year, so we'll see how that goes. It might be a bit of a ruin for us, but we'll do the best we can, and just we'll chug along and try to crank out as many laps as we can.
Canmore is just spectacular. It's probably one of the most beautiful places in the world. And the organizers are, again, it's a huge event, and it takes a lot of people to make it happen, and they're doing an amazing job year in and year out. It just baffles me how they pull it off, and especially this year with the challenges of all the high water and the floods, like where we camped last night. I'm basically sleeping on a floodplain. We had to pull rocks away to set up our tent. So, yeah, the organizers, I can't say enough about them. They're just amazing what they've done, particularly this year.